I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with Frankie Faison, who plays the title character in The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain. It tells the true story of how, after an accidental medical alert, White Plains police broke into Chamberlain's apartment and killed him during what was supposed to be a welfare check. Were you familiar with this story before making the film?
Not at all. Never heard a thing about it. And I'm in New Jersey. I'm only about an hour away, but it just went under my radar totally.
And given the nature of what happened that morning, the film more or less tackles this event in real time. What did you think about sort of putting yourself and the audience in that sort of mindset and in that situation as it was unfolding?
Well, I'm an actor who comes from the stage, so real time for me is always a luxury. I mean, it was just such a joy to do it in real time because I could keep my energy focused and concentrated. And I think it's a joy for the audience to see as well, because they don't have to worry about waiting for the next day or the next week or something. It's all going to happen. It's succinct, compact, 87 minutes, and there it is. It really helped me a lot in portraying this character because I didn't have any room to get away from it. I felt like Kenneth Chamberlain. I was backed into that corner. I was like I'm backed into the role of playing, the task of playing this character. And I think it was, it worked extremely well for me.
Of course, the film is 87 minutes, and so that's how long we're experiencing this. How long was the shoot? Like, how long were you in this kind of heightened situation?
Now this is gonna get you. It was a 12-day shoot. 4 days I did by myself before any of the other actors came, just me and the door, and then 4 days after that, the actors were there, and I was able to finally have them there and have that. That was really good to have and powerful. and then they shot the last 4 days, without me. So it was a 12-day shoot, very small budget, and everybody had to be on task. Everybody had to be on their game to make this thing work. And so I didn't have a chance to get away from that character during that whole period. I was locked into him, and I had to be in order to make this film successful. And so that was amazing for me.
And you mentioned, some days you're working on your own, some days, with the co-stars. Almost the whole film, your character is separated from, these other characters, by of course the door. And you mentioned your theatrical background. Did that help with, sort of being alone in that kind of claustrophobic space and being in character like that?
Well, the space helped a tremendous amount, and being alone and claustrophobic, that helped a tremendous amount too, because in reality, this is what Kenneth Chamberlain was going through. He was alone. He was alone in his apartment, and the only sounds he heard were the intrusive sounds from the law enforcement who had come there to supposedly to take care of him, the wellness check, to make sure he was all right. But they were the ones who were trying to break his door down, try to unlawfully enter into his home. And they treated him like he was a suspect in a crime rather than a person with mental cases, health issues, mental health issues. And, when you expect people out there to be protecting you, and they are the perpetrators of your anxiety, your fear, it's a very sad statement to make. Hard to believe that he had to endure this the last 87 minutes of his life. And this is the first film that I think that I can recall where they actually see the last hour and a half of someone's life before they meet a wrongful death by law enforcement. I mean, you actually see it. You don't get the stories of like, well, he was a nice guy or he was this or that. I want the audience to be there with Kenneth Chamberlain to see what he was feeling, to see what he was thinking, his anxiety, his fear, his frustration with the situation. So.
How much did you learn about the real Kenneth Chamberlain in preparation for the role? Like, did you have a chance to speak with or work with his son, who I know was involved in the making?
His son was involved in the making, and he was very good voice, in the making. But I didn't speak to anyone in his family. I didn't watch any videos. I didn't listen to any tapes or anything. I wanted to create this character from what we had from this amazing script by David Madell. And I felt personally, because it's we're telling a story. I didn't want to do a reenactment per se. I wanted to tell a story of a man in this situation. And I think that in life, there are universal sounds that we have. And those sounds, the sounds of fear, the sounds of anguish, the sounds of hatred, the sounds of joy. And I felt that if I could lock into those sounds, to hear them and to digest them as an actor and as a human being, that I would do an honest portrayal of who this man was. And so I just really relied upon that. And I didn't want to have any outside influence, because then I felt like I may have been trying to imitate what it was like or what it was. And I didn't want to do that. I feel that at the end of the day, this is really a very artful piece. Even though it's very hard to watch, it's a tough story, but it's a film. It's art. You have actors and directors and cinematography, everything. And I think I wanted to honor and pay tribute to that fine aspect of it being an art piece as well. So it's not the kind of thing that I invite friends to see and I say, oh, come and see this, you're gonna really enjoy this, because you're not. It's gonna be hard hitting, but at the same time, it still is a work of art.
Yeah, and just getting into the emotional mindset of your scenes, like what was that emotional preparation like going into this shoot, knowing that you're going to be in that headspace for the 12-day shoot?
Well, going into it, I had no idea, because I am also one of those organic actors. I'm moment to moment. I can't play something ahead of time. I can't even realize it. I don't even want to visualize it. I want to rely on the script. I read the script and I got that information, but until I was actually in there, saying the lines and hearing the sounds coming at me, I had no idea what I would do. And I was taken by surprise totally. And I also was lost in I'm lost in the recollection, the memory of those 12 days, man. I just don't, I was so connected to this character, to his story, to this man, and to what was going on, that I just, I don't remember much about the filming at all. I just remember there were people there, and I remember the director saying action and blah, blah, blah. He would set up a scene, and it was a very amazing thing to deal with, because we had 2 cameras on at all time, and because we didn't have money for an elaborate setup, so we had to just sort of fudge it. And we all did a dance together. And I was, you become so comfortable, you become unaware of them, and they're doing their job. But it was, for me, it was, the preparation was all in the moment to moment, the realization of what was going on with this man.
What was the feeling of actually seeing the finished film, or have you been able to watch the finished film, just how emotionally intense it is, compared to actually being in that, filming it?
I'm an actor who also loves to see his finished work. And the reason I like to see my finished work is because usually if I'm doing my job, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Besides doing my job of portraying characters. And so when I see the finished work, it's a true test to me as to whether or not how engaged I was in in dealing with the truth of the character, the script, the story, and all of that. So for me, it was a great joy. I mean, I was like, and I've seen the film many times, and each time I'm looking for flaws. I want to find, you know, because I'm an artist, I'm a perfectionist. But I look for flaws and but the last few times that I've seen the film, I've been able to disassociate myself from the character that I'm playing up there. And many times it broke my heart. It brought me to tears on occasions, and it was unexpected, you know, but and that made me feel as if I really did reach a certain truth in finding this character, this man, because I saw him as Kenneth Chamberlain, not as Frankie Faison playing Kenneth Chamberlain. And it just really, it broke my heart. I mean, like the last couple of times I saw it, I tell you, I was truly brought to tears because I felt like this should not be happening. This should not occur. So.
Yeah, and one of the extraordinary things about this particular case is, you know, that there is recorded documentation of it from his call to the medical alert company, which we hear the actual parts of the actual call at the end of the film. What was it like hearing that? You know, just seeing the art representing it, and then hearing that kind of last, you know, testament to what actually happened in that moment.
It was eerie for me because, I mean, you know, like I said, I think that there are universal sounds. And I think if a writer has done his work, then, you know, when you do it, you will come closer. So I figured that I need to come close in recapturing the essence of Kenneth Chamberlain, who this man was. And when I hear those sounds, they just, like, I feel like I did a pretty good job of doing that. And when I met his family, they all just came and embraced me, and they said thank you, and they really felt that I was paying great respect to their father and to their grandfather, to their friend. They really felt the essence of Kenneth Chamberlain was there. And that it also bespeaks the fact that that when something this tragic happens to someone, you know, it's those if you're fortunate enough to get to play that kind of character, that those sounds, they're going to be true, they're going to ring true, they're going to come through. And I really felt them when I heard the tapes. I said, oh man, I really felt the essence of this Kenneth Chamberlain, you know, senior person. I just said, oh wow. And it was painful for me to hear it. It really was, because it was an extension of the work in which I had done, and was, you know, and it just, it was an unbelievable experience for me. I mean, it's like, this has been a joy for me to do. And like I say, I gravitate towards doing work that's very meaningful, work that speaks to truth and reality. And no better opportunity have I ever been given than doing this filming of The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain. And I'm very grateful and appreciative.
Yeah, and you know, as you said, this movie gives us a chance to spend the last 87 minutes of this person's life with him, you know, as it's about to be ended by the police. And it's so easy to, you know, see news reports of events like this happening. And, you know, even if you're outraged, it's like, it's different from actually imagining what those last minutes of a person's life are like, and, you know, how quickly things can change, and how, you know, 1 minute you're waking up and the next minute this is happening to you. Like, has that affected how you see, like, all of these cases, you know, of police brutality and, you know, these extrajudicial killings, the way it affected my view of it?
Oh, absolutely. It's given me an insight that I didn't have before. I mean, before, I've always, you know, I would say, wow, what a shame, you know, I say, oh, that's terrible. It's too hard to watch. Oh, how can they do this? What a terrible way for a person to have to die. But now it's become it's elevated. I feel a sense of it much deeper than I ever felt it when I'm watching it, because I was thinking of of the Floyd situation, when they're putting, see, these officers, these actors, they came in and they actually put weight on my body where I could not breathe. And so when I see him say that I cannot breathe, you know, or help me, mom, or anything, it registers in a way that it didn't register before. I mean, it's resounding. It's like I hear it and see it now and I say, I know that. I know that. I know what he's going through. I know that fear. I know that pain. And I know the sorrow of the family. I know it in a way that that I'll never be able to forget, because they say experience is the best teacher, you know. And even all the times that I was learning how to become a good actor, when they said to me, you know, you haven't had enough experience to play this part, or you're too young to play this part, I always accepted it. But it really, I understand it to, now that I'm older, I understand it to a level, a degree that I never understood it before. And this situation with someone unlawfully and wrongfully putting, you know, putting a person through these changes, I feel it, and it hurts. It hurts a tremendous amount. But I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad, and I hope that this film will allow other people to feel it to a deeper degree as well. And to also to understand that, like you said, this guy woke up in the, you know, he's at home. He's not expecting any of these things to occur, but they do. And, you know, I want people to know that it can happen to you, it can happen to me, your father, your grandfather, your neighbor. It can, if you're caught on the wrong side of a situation, you know. And so I hope that this film can be a learning instrument for law enforcement, but I also hope it can be a learning instrument to people on the other side who find themselves in an entanglement with the law and they don't know what to do. It's not always the wisest thing to do is to butt heads with them because they have the numbers, and you might say something that would trigger anger in them, and you know, and you could lose your life. So that's the way I feel about that.
And you know, for this film, for your performance, you were awarded at the Gotham Awards, and you are nominated for an Independent Spirit Award as well. What has that recognition been like, given the importance of this film and the significance of it in your experience, to now have people seeing it and recognizing this performance?
That's a tricky question, because I feel that I have been acting professionally for 50 years. And I feel like I must have been doing something right for people to keep hiring me to do jobs, okay? Now, the recognition that I'm receiving because of this film, it's nice. I mean, we all love to be recognized and be honored for the work that we do. But I feel that it's more important for it to bring attention to the film than it is to bring attention to me, because my life is going to go on. I'm going to continue to work until I can't work anymore. And you know, and if I have an award, yes, that's nice. But as I said in the acceptance speech in the Gotham Award, this work, this body of work, this film, the way that it brings light to the Chamberlain family is way more precious and meaningful to me than any award that I can ever receive. And I receive and accept the awards knowing that it will somehow make more people get to see this film, because they want to see, you know, an award-winning actor do something, they will do that. So like I said, with all respect, I give it all to the film and to the family of Kenneth Chamberlain.
Well, congratulations on the film, on your performance, and on more and more people seeing it and learning what happened and learning what happens to other people. It not just Kenneth Chamberlain. It's been a pleasure talking with you about it.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and it was my honor, my joy to be here. Thanks.